Good morning, everyone. It's the Health Juggernaut, and today we're going to make an amazing recipe with the lowly liver. Now, liver is very healthy, especially for those on a ketogenic diet or a high-protein diet or a low-carb diet, because liver has a lot of vitamins and minerals and proteins. It also helps to detoxify your liver. So it's a great meal. You want to try to get it into your ketogenic diet multiple times a week. The problem with liver is most people think that it tastes terrible, and to be honest with you, it does. But today I'm going to show you how to make liver taste delicious. So let's get started. So we've got our burger and we've got our liver. I'm going to keep this recipe very simple. Got some specks on my chopping block. We are going to use some fresh cheddar cheese, that's mild. We're also going to throw in some celery, one of my faves. We're also going to chop in some yellow onion. We've got some fresh organic tomato. And last but not least, some white button mushrooms. We're going to combine all these ingredients into a pan, add some spices, and it is going to be delicious. Let's get to chopping. Now I like to chop my celery really fine. Same thing with my onion. Now you can do an alternate recipe and leave yours kind of chunky. But I just like them to blend in a little bit. I want them to soften up a good bit when I cook them, so the flavor and the texture blend in and just leaves a little bit of crunchiness to add some texture. And of course, celery is very healthy. It detoxifies the body. It's an anti-estrogen, which is especially helpful for men. Alright, that looks pretty good. It's pretty fine. Put that in our bowl. Alright, let's go ahead and do the same thing with a yellow onion. That's fresh. We're going to take about a quarter of a whole onion, really. This is going to make a larger meal. It's going to be enough for, well, one big guy, one hungry person, or a couple. We're going to have almost 10 ounces of meat with some veggies and some cheese. That could feed two. I'm probably going to eat the whole thing, but you could definitely feed two people. I like to put a fine chop on my onions just like that, so they cook thoroughly and blend in with the flavor. Get that skin out. Alright. Okay, I gave my mushrooms a rinse. Chop these up and put those in there as well. I like to leave my mushrooms a little bit chunkier. They'll render down a lot as they cook. Nice big pile of mushrooms. Alright, that looks good. I'm going to put my mushrooms in a separate bowl because I'm going to put my celery and my onions on first. Let them get softened up a bit before I add my mushrooms. Go ahead and pre-chop our tomato. Get that ready. I'll throw in a whole tomato. This is a medium-sized tomato. You can use a couple of Roma tomatoes if you want to, or half of a larger tomato, depending on your preference. Now I'm going to chop these kind of fine, but I'm still going to put them in at the end, right on top after we add our spices, because this tomato is ripe and ready. It's a little bit soft, so I'm just going to need to warm it up a bit before we eat it, but it doesn't have to cook very long. Alright, that looks good. Let's put that in a bowl. Alright, we've got that. Now while we're at it, let's go ahead and pre-shred some cheddar cheese. Alright, we've got a nice big block of fresh cheddar cheese here. Let's grate some onto a plate. Adds a ton of flavor. It's a nice addition of fat to the meal. Gives it a nice creamy texture. I like to put cheese on everything. But honestly, I really don't have more than about an ounce of cheese a day. Sometimes 2 at the most if I have a good workout and I'm really hungry. For me, cheese is just an accent. It's a bit of flavor, a bit of texture, plus the kids love it. Alright, that looks like plenty. That's about an ounce or an ounce and a half of cheese. For this recipe, that should be plenty. This is a pre-cut liver fillet. It's very convenient. It's 4.5 ounces. And the way we're going to prep this is we're going to cut it open, just give it a quick rinse, and then we're going to chop it fine. Because what we're going to do is we're going to mix it in with the burger, and we're going to flavor it just like burger. And so the flavoring and the taste of the burger and the texture of the burger is going to make this liver blend in perfectly. For adults, it's fantastic because it works great. It even works for kids. If you're trying to get a little bit more liver into your kids' diets, you can use this recipe and you can disguise it. You can eat it just like that, or you can mix it in with some chili or scrambled eggs, whatever you want to do. Alright, so all I did was open the package and give this liver a quick rinse just to clean it up a bit. Yes, liver is kind of disgusting when you're working with it. But the health benefits, I think, are worth the trouble. And if you can make it taste great, it's almost effortless. So again, we're just going to chop this fine. If you've got a meat grinder, you can just drop the whole liver right in, and it will come out like burger. Liver burger, literally. Let me grab a fork, see if that helps. That works a little better. This liver is going to brown up just like the burger. And it is going to be disguised. And what are we trying to do here? We're trying to disguise the liver. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Because you don't want your taste buds to know the difference. To be honest with you, I don't even want my mind to be able to tell the difference. I just want to be able to pretend I'm eating plain old burger. But liver's one of those things that it's important to make a daily part of your life if you're a meat eater. Because if you're on a low-carb diet and you're trying to keep your total carbohydrate intake below, say, 50 grams or even 20 grams, you're basically not allowed to have any carbs at all. So normally, you could have a big bowl of broccoli and veggies and get a lot of vitamins and minerals from those. But if you're going really low carb, trying to stay in ketosis all the time, you're going to need to get your vitamins and your minerals from animal sources. That's why a lot of the quote-unquote ancient civilizations, or primitive civilizations as some might call it, ate the entire animal, including the organs and the brain and the fat, and ate the muscle tissue last. Because the structure of the body, the human body, is composed of protein, vitamins, and minerals. And your fuel sources can either be fat or carbohydrates. So we want to focus on the protein, the vitamins, and minerals first, and then up the fat or the carbs depending on our energy needs. Let's get to cooking. Now I'm going to put this on a medium temperature. I'm going to do this exactly medium, because I like to cook my burger a little bit slower. It gives me a little more control, and I don't necessarily like that char on the edges. So medium is perfect. But let's start with our onions and celery. Let's get that going. Gonna add just a bit of water. Keep things from burning. You know what? I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. I'm going to go just a little bit higher than low. I'm going to put this on 6. Because I want to get my celery and my onions going before I add my mushrooms. All right, that's looking pretty good. Once we get the celery and the onions softened up a bit, we can go ahead and add our mushrooms. Okay. Let that render down for a few minutes. Then we can add some meat. A little more water. If you happen to add too much water, that's fine. Just cook it a little bit longer. Let it steam off. All right, that looks good. Okay, that's looking pretty good. They're softened up. Mushrooms are shrinking down a little bit. I feel good with that. Let's add some meat. Go ahead and add our burger. That's 5 ounces of burger. Let's go ahead and add our liver. Like I say, that's 4.5 ounces of liver. So it's almost 1 part to 1 with the liver and the burger. If you want, you can add twice as much burger because the meal will go further and you'll still get a ton of nutrition from the liver. But for me, I find this recipe works so great. 50-50 is really nice. It's a good mixture, and you get plenty of nutrients from the liver. All right, that looks good. Just stir it up a bit. And we're just going to cook this on medium high to all the burger browns, and then we're going to add some spices. Cook it for another minute, and it will be done. Just give this a stir occasionally. Be sure to turn all your meat over. I like to just get that pink out, and then you can add some spices. It's looking good. Okay, that looks good. We just cooked the pink out of it. What I love about this is you can't even tell what's liver and what's burger. It just looks like a traditional burger meal. And of course, that's what we're trying to emulate because everyone loves burger. Am I right? All right, so we've got that done. I'm gonna go ahead and put my tomatoes in because I want those to soften up just a little bit more, cook in with my meal. And now's a good time to add our spices. I'm going to add a shot of Worcestershire sauce just to put a little flavor on it. Himalayan pink salt. And it's okay to add a bit more salt when you're on a ketogenic diet. I don't overdo it. I just add a little bit with every meal. Black pepper. Onion powder. Now we're going to season this like we're cooking steak. That's really going to bring out the flavor. Garlic powder. This meal is all about flavor and texture. Go ahead and throw in a little bit of basil, which I always add to my steaks. You don't need a lot of this. That's plenty. Now this is optional. Cayenne pepper. I'm adding it because it's good for circulation and detoxing. I like that hot bite. But if you or your people don't like it that hot and spicy, leave that off. Now, lastly, we're going to go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of butter. Butter tastes great. It also gets your fat content up a bit. Brings that flavor all together. All right, let's stir it up. Get those flavors rocking. Now I'm just going to stir this until the butter melts. And then we're going to put it in a serving bowl. Get those spices mixed around good. That smells delish. I can't wait to eat this. Okay, that looks good. Let's serve it up. So let's put all of our main ingredients in a nice big serving bowl. Wish you guys could smell this. Smells great. Tastes great. It even looks appetizing. That is a meal you cannot wait to dig into. But we're not even finished making it awesome. We got a sprinkle on some cheese. And it is ready to eat. And if you're really bold, you can add a splash of Texas Pete. That's it. Delicious, nutritious liver. You guys give it a try. Health Juggernaut out.